o'clock. ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
San Diego and 40 other counties are just hours away from California's latest shutdown orders. And right now, local businesses are anxiously awaiting to hear their fate. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. A hearing ended about 90 minutes ago over a lawsuit to allow them to reopen indoors. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner has the arguments from both sides.
In a downtown courtroom Friday afternoon, a battle over a request to halt the shutdown orders for San Diego bars, restaurants, and gyms. The attorney you're about to hear from is representing a group of local businesses like the restaurant Cowboy Star and Bear Republic CrossFit Gym, which are pushing for an emergency injunction.
What I do want to say, Your Honor, is that the temporary restraining order is based on data, it's based on facts, it's based on science, and it's based on the state not showing why it has targeted these industries when the science and the data doesn't support it.
The state argued that damage to businesses pales in comparison to the damage on human life.
There's over 18,000 dead Californians, and there's nearly 1,000 dead San Diegans. And the numbers are getting dramatically worse and have been for the last couple of weeks.
Restaurants were open for indoor operations with limited capacities under the red tier, but last Saturday's move to the purple tier forced them to shut down indoor services completely and move outside. They're suing Governor Newsom and San Diego County, arguing the closures go against their rights, causing financial devastation. The suit was filed on behalf of all restaurants and gyms.
It's been really rough to have to kind of shut down business again when people were starting to feel normal, and then we see the County of San Diego's Department of Health say that gyms are only 0.4% of the cases in San Diego. And it's really frustrating as a business owner to kind of have these ebbs and flows of business where we can be open, then we can't.
Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
The judge said he might have had a ruling by 5 p.m. Of course, that has not happened as of yet. He did say it could come down on Monday. Otherwise, of course, we're going to keep monitoring the court's decision. In the meantime, local law enforcement is preparing to enforce the governor's newly issued limited stay-at-home order. This goes into effect tomorrow night at 10. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department says it will follow up on complaints about businesses violating that order. Sheriff Bill Gore said they will aim to educate first, but if that doesn't work, they will then begin issuing fines. It's still not clear how the department will handle private gatherings. And here are the latest numbers for San Diego County. 1,091 new cases that were reported today. That brings our total to more than 69,000. This breaks our previous record for daily coronavirus cases as well. And there were 8 new deaths. 960 San Diegans have now died from the virus. San Diego's recovering job market could be in for a setback amid purple tier restrictions and the new curfew. Our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why the next few weeks will be very telling.
Ballast Point, Little Italy has expanded onto the sidewalk and into the street, but too many of those extra tables are going empty.
Even with our expanded outdoor space, we're still seeing a decline in sales.
Company Vice President Jeremy Kirby says that means reduced hours for staff. And with outdoor-only dining in the winter months, it also means no new jobs.
People want to come out and dine out. They want to support the local businesses, but until it gets to that point, we won't be sending out any mass hiring emails and postings, no help wanted stuff for us.
For hiring to pick up, Kirby says Ballast Point would have to be up to 50% indoor capacity. Right now, it's outdoor only, and the governor instituted a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. It all comes as San Diego County's job market had been on the road to recovery. The state reported Friday that the region's unemployment rate fell for the 6th month in a row to 7.7%. That momentum now at risk.
Well, in the next few weeks, what I think you see is those businesses that aren't going to be able to make it on the margin, they will have to let their employees go. So you'll see a tick up in unemployment. And then I think it'll probably stabilize through the rest of the year.
Sandag chief economist Ray Major says until a vaccine comes out, consumers are likely to continue to be cautious, shopping online and avoiding travel. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
The state says employment in the county is still down by 106,000 jobs compared to the same time last year.
This year has been different in almost every way, and while so many of our holiday plans are changing, many of the local traditions you've come to know and love will still be around. They'll just be reimagined virtually. Gathering together for Thanksgiving might be off the table this year, but you can still enjoy some other traditions. On the radio,
you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
The Old Globe Theater will broadcast its 23rd annual production of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Such a beautiful score, the music is fantastic, and it really is a story that we all know and can envision these characters.
Associate Artistic Director Justin Waldman says the show will debut on Thanksgiving Day and is free to everyone. There'll be several other performances through Christmas. And this weekend, you can watch the virtual Christmas tree lighting.
Virtual representation of what we would normally do. There are songs from the show, visits from previous cast members, some favorite Grinches from the past, ensemble members, local favorites.
The San Diego Symphony is also performing again, debuting their Return to Music concert a few weeks ago.
It was the first time the musicians had been back together since the March 9th, which was the last live concert we were able to have.
Martha Gilmer with the Symphony says they will kick off their holiday season of performances with another free concert tonight called Together Apart.
We know we're all watching the same performance, even if it's virtual, and there's still a feeling of community, which I think is really important right now.
There's also planned virtual performances of The Nutcracker from the San Diego Civic Youth Ballet and Silent Night from professional San Diego dancers. Tonight's San Diego Symphony concert starts at 7 o'clock. You can watch by going to their website. It is free, but this year especially, they welcome any and all donations. The same goes for the Old Globe, which is also welcoming any financial help during this difficult year.
It was announced just an hour ago that Donald Trump Jr. has tested positive for the coronavirus. A spokesperson says the president's oldest son tested positive earlier in the week. He is asymptomatic and is now in isolation. Trump Jr.'s positive test adds to the dozens associated with and including the president to test positive for COVID-19. No word on the exact day that Trump Jr. received that positive test result. You can stay up to date on any developments surrounding the coronavirus by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
Breaking news now, there was a mass shooting inside of a mall just west of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Here's what we know so far. Authorities say 7 adults and 1 teenager were shot. The extent of their injuries are unknown at this time, but no deaths have been reported. The gunman is still at large and is described as a white male in his 20s or 30s. This all happened around 3 p.m. local time at the Mayfair Mall in Wauwatosa. One mall employee described the terrifying noises she heard as gunshots rang out.
Everybody started screaming, and I saw a lot of people running, so I tucked. I was in shock, so I tucked, and then I was like, I gotta get out. So I ran. I just ran.
It's not clear right now if the shooter had an intended target. The FBI is now assisting in the investigation.
San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer's time in the office ends in less than 3 weeks, but it appears he has already got his sights set on a new job. Yesterday, Faulconer revealed that he is considering running for governor of California. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky shows why many think he gives Republicans a real shot at winning back the governor's mansion.
Downtown it's just special. I'm really going to miss this place.
That was San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer this week, joking in a goodbye comedy roast about what he's going to do next when his time in office ends next month. But jokes aside, it's pretty clear he wants to run for governor. He admitted he was thinking about it Thursday in an interview with the Los Angeles Times.
In this entire state of 30 million people, he's clearly the main viable Republican that would be credible to run statewide. So I think Republicans, he would get the vast majority of the Republican vote right out the gate.
But political analyst John Dadian says just rallying Republicans isn't enough. Democrats and even independents each far outnumber the GOP, so Faulconer would need to reach out.
Well, the registration really is the biggest, 800-pound gorilla in the room. That really does define the campaign, quite honestly.
But Faulconer does have appeal that some other Republicans may not. He's considered to have led San Diego as a moderate, frequently working with Democrats on issues like climate change. It's a message he'll take with him as he tries to introduce himself to Californians outside of San Diego.
Watch the second he's out of office, which is December 10th, watch him to start doing extensive travel all over the state.
Faulconer is also doing something else serious candidates do, fundraise. His PAC raised more than $120,000 in the first 6 months of this year, with major contributions from places like Fresno and LA.
It's raising some serious money, so that shows that people outside of San Diego consider him a viable candidate to run statewide.
Faulconer has not said when he would decide to officially jump into the race. Jeff Lasky, ABC 10 News.
Dadian also says that leaving office could be an advantage for Faulconer because he's going to have more time to spend the next year traveling to the state to start building support. Governor Newsom's term is up in 2022. The race for the District 2 supervisor seat is still too close to call. We just got in some new numbers. Yesterday, Joel Anderson was up 291 in the last count, but today that lead shrunk just a little bit to 284. Both candidates are Republicans, so this race will not impact the balance of power on the board. The next update will come tomorrow.
President Trump is still baselessly claiming he won the election and appears to be trying to overturn the will of voters in Michigan. But as ABC's Alex Perche reports, top Democrats now say they're ready to take action to start the transition process.
Speaking publicly for the first time in a week, the president announcing plans to lower prescription drug prices and also once again making false claims about the election.
Which I won, by the way, but we'll find that out. Almost 74 million votes.
President Trump meeting with the top 2 state GOP lawmakers from Michigan at the White House, part of an apparent plan to persuade Republicans in the state legislature to overturn the will of the voters and select him instead. President-elect Joe Biden won the state by more than 150,000 votes. The meeting deeply concerning to some lawmakers. Michigan members of Congress in a bipartisan op-ed wrote that Biden won enough states to clearly prevail in the Electoral College. There is simply no indication of massive fraud, wrongdoing, or gross errors in Michigan's election results.
What is the president planning to discuss this afternoon with the 2 Michigan lawmakers? And will he ask them to have the state legislature appoint electors?
This is not an advocacy meeting. There will be no one from the campaign there. He routinely meets with lawmakers from all across the country.
Another Michigan Democratic congresswoman saying plainly,
the president is trying to, I don't know what word to call it, is cheat his way to victory by pressuring local officials.
But these and other challenges are seen as refusals to accept the reality that Biden won. General Services Administrator Emily Murphy still has not signed off on Biden's victory, blocking his access to key transition resources. Today, Speaker Nancy Pelosi was asked if the House will have an expanded role if Murphy continues to be a roadblock.
I'm not one to show my hand, but nonetheless, we're ready.
Now, House Democrats are demanding a briefing from Emily Murphy by Monday to explain the delay, saying that she has no conceivable argument that Biden didn't win the election. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Earlier today, President Trump finalized 2 new regulations designed to lower prescription drug prices. One is called the Most Favored Nation rule. It would require Medicare to match the prices it pays for drugs to those paid by other wealthy countries.
Until now, Americans have often been charged more than twice as much for the exact same drug as other medically advanced countries.
The second requires drug companies to give discounts to Medicare patients that would normally go to pharmacy benefit managers. Experts are expecting legal challenges from the pharmaceutical industry.